The concept of a nature recovery network is built on this principle of bigger, better, more joined up spaces for wildlife. So we take our highest quality, wildlife-rich areas like our protected sites, and we make sure that they're well connected in order to allow species, wildlife, flora to move across our landscape, builds better resilience for climate change, biodiversity loss. In Calder Valley and Bradford, we're blessed with these upland grazing pastures and meadows, also known as in-by or ancient grasslands, which are functionally connected to the protected sites. They provide areas for breeding birds to forage and move about in the landscape, such as lapwing, curlew. We funded and supported several projects along the same theme of the Ancient Grasslands project. One of these was the on-the-ground delivery, the actual mapping element where we looked at where the ancient grasslands are, whether they align with any ecosystem services that we can provide, such as flood alleviation, carbon capture, air quality, all things that this habitat in particular is really good at. The next part of the project was looking at developing management plans in conjunction with landowners and farmers and involving an ecologist. And this was basically to illustrate how management of their land for biodiversity and for these ecosystem benefits can also work alongside their farming practices, and it can be an iterative process. They can input into it to get feasible, deliverable outcomes that they're happy with and that benefit nature and the community. Personally, I grew up in this landscape. I'm from Calderdale, so I grew up on the moors, in the grasslands, and I know how important they are for myself and for the people that live here.
So as the local authority biodiversity officer in Bradford, I've been working with the other West Yorkshire local authorities and with statutory agencies like Natural England and the Environment Agency and other grassroots organisations, conservation groups that work in Bradford, looking at ways that we can benefit nature and the people of Bradford district and the South Pennines by using biodiversity net gain and local nature recovery strategies. Bradford sits between the industrial and the rural north. It's got a young population, a population that we want to inspire in order to feel connected with the natural world and to protect it. We sit in a unique position here to be the architects of something which really does turn around a modified landscape and restore nature within that landscape for the enjoyment and the benefit of people, for the health and well-being benefits that will give to the population, but significantly to the valuable species that we have here, whether it's the birds of the moorlands, whether it's the peat bogs that are storing carbon and storing water, or whether it's our rivers and streams or the ancient woodlands that we still have in Bradford. Feeling more connected with the natural world. We know that it's good for people's mental health, and being able to get out and exercise in wilder spaces is great for people's physical health as well. You know, often what we have built up in urban communities is a disconnect from nature, and what we want to be able to encourage through nature recovery is people perhaps in those urban communities engaging with the natural world.
July 2021 we acquired this site here, Mustafa Mount, primarily an Islamic educational provider, 15-acre site that has a number of buildings on site here. As you'll have experienced, it's set in some beautiful gardens, and as we stood outside here now on this beautiful summer's day, you would not think that you're in the middle of Bradford city centre. Just look out, you see nothing but greenery everywhere. It's just about educating people, but it's about connecting people as well. One of the visions that this site actually becomes a sanctuary for people to come and visit, to come and for their own mental well-being, for their own education, for their own nurturing. So going forward, we want to have a paradise garden that people can come and engage with and sit with and reflect upon. Right from our elders, respected elders, right down to children. We really want to connect them all so that they grow up appreciating nature and living nature, because it's something that's been lost. And we know there's a big government drive towards it as well, but I think Islam naturally just connects back to nature.
The South Pennines Park is a park with a difference. We're the largest upland landscape that's undesignated in England, and the South Pennines Park is looking at how you can manage at a landscape scale when you don't have that designation. So we're working with communities, local businesses, local authorities, and just people across the park to figure out how we make this landscape work for people, for businesses, for visitors and for nature, of course. So the project found that every single one of the activities we delivered supported people and increased their inclination to get involved in practical conservation activities in the future. So through our heritage walks that were delivered as part of the project, we were able to identify spots across our 3 different sites that could do with some practical interventions to improve the quality of those uplands, and that's a range of things from sphagnum moss planting to re-wetting to some natural flood management interventions. So we now have the information that we need to go out and work with our partners to secure further funding to put practical intervention in place to improve those upland landscapes as well. And finally, the partners that we have worked with have been able to build new connections with the communities that surround them. So every single one of us now know new people, new communities in Bradford and the South Pennines that are now engaged in the idea of maintaining and conserving our uplands for the good of everyone. And that puts us in a really good place for moving forward to deliver future work in these uplands.